Whenever my friends and I start talking about our favorite childhood shows, the subject usually tends to orbit around classics from Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. But at that point, I'm quickly reminded that I'm very lucky that back in 2003, when I was 12 years old, my cable provider added a new source of cartoons in the form of the Russian localized Fox Kids, which was later renamed to Jetix. Now, my American viewers can probably remember their Fox Kids from the 90s, but our version came after yours was discontinued, and this version was a mix of both old and new shows. So alongside the classics such as Tick or Inspector Gadget, Spider-Man, X-Men, and other, we also had Witch, Totally Spies, Adam, and other shows that I really enjoyed, including the one that I'm going to be talking about today. Oban Star Racers, alongside other Fox Kids material such as Shaman King and a very nurtured version of Naruto, are probably the shows that actually got me interested in anime more so than any amount of Pokemon, Digimon, or Beyblade that I used to watch earlier. And the reason why I'm going to be talking about Oban today is not only because I think you totally should watch it, and it seems not many have, but also that it's available for watching right here on YouTube if you do decide to give it a chance. In the ultra-futuristic year of 2082, where humanity apparently has dealt with all of its internal struggles and has become a single and unified planet under the name of the Earthen Coalition, this new and better human race has reached the technologies which not only removes their nostrils, joke, but also grants them access to advanced interstellar travel. And Oban makes one of the better uses of the TV tropes that yes, not only we aren't the only ones out there, but even more so, not all of our newfound neighbors come in peace. As the introduction is built, we find out that one of these antagonistic species are an imperialistic race called the Krog, who've actually launched an attack on Earth once before. More on that later. And only then we are introduced to our primary protagonist, a girl named Eva Wei, who turns out to be one of the students at a boarding school. It's soon found out that she lives there permanently on the account of her father being absent from both childhood, while still providing for and paying for her tutorage, and her mother having passed away while she was quite a fair bit younger. And it's actually this family issue that serves as both the backbone and the introduction of this character. You see, Eva lives through her life with a very specific kind of predicament. Her father, Don Wei, is known as a very influential and very famous racing manager who just happens to have almost no contact with her. Even in the first episode where we see her sitting at a school phone booth waiting for a call from him, it being her birthday and all, we can actually hear one of the students remark to another how they thought that she was an orphan. That what does she expect to happen if he has never called her to this day? But finally, enough is enough. Upon learning that the school's postal section has allowed through an otherwise forbidden order of hers, Eva decides to take matters in her own hands. Remember, we still don't know exactly what happened to her family to be this way, but it was enough that upon hitting 15 years of age, for Eva to put the finishing touches upon her salvaged futuristic scooter and make a run for it. So far, in general, Eva has been described as a very loud, very confident, and very ambitious person, as well as having a green thumb equivalent to when it comes to mechanics. But all of that is actually a facade over an otherwise very concerned kid who feels like an orphan while technically they aren't, and thus has led to this very moment where she makes a beeline towards her father's racing company. Again, unlike other stories of similar nature, she knows full well where her dad is, and so she heads out to see him. And this meeting she seems to anticipate with genuine happiness, even though during this section of the show you can kind of see that she has these little doubts of how it's going to happen. However, sooner or later she is standing at the gates of the nearby racing track, and upon convincing the guard to let her pass, she is ready to face Don Wei. But, as you probably have guessed, this whole special moment instantly goes sideways when Don Wei not only does not recognize his own daughter from 10 years ago, but he even mistakes her for a boy. I really like this one moment when all of this is happening, the nearby Star Racer vehicle breaks down, which obviously symbolizes the situation as a whole, but while Eva tries to stammer out a response as to who she actually is, she knows that Mr. Wei is already focused on a more pressing matter, not having hurt her. Don Wei is best described as a very prideful and commandeering person, very strict, very focused on his goals, which is why he is one of the best racing managers Earth has to offer, but those qualities are not what makes for a seemingly kind-hearted person. But even as the show portrays him seemingly negatively, which I certainly as a kid seemed to see him as, the me of today cannot help but to completely understand his frustrations. Not only there is a kid on the premises who can get into trouble or get hurt, the Grand Prix is on the horizon and his Star Racer just suffered a technical malfunction. You don't really get to this level by being lax or dismissive of your own job, so of course he would expect his employees to have the same sense of duty and drive. But of course it's Eva to the rescue, and having already been established as someone with a passion for mechanics, she instantly fixes the issue, and only now does she appears on Don Wei's radar as a person. However, the damage is already done, and being addressed by your own dad as a trespasser and then as a possible employee kinda kills the mood. So when she's asked for her name, and there's that little moment of shock when she realizes he still hasn't figured it out or heard her from before, she decides to lie and instead calls herself Molly. So with two of our major characters established, now it's time to finally introduce us to the race of Oban itself. And the way that this happens is, that the President of Earth drops in. Yeah. Once Don Wei is in the privacy of the man's armored limo and specifically told that everything he's about to hear is top secret, we are finally given insight as to what actually happened during that Krog invasion all of those years ago. The Krogs had launched a surprise attack and caught the defense force off guard. Things were actually looking quite grim, but before any significant damage was done, the leaders on both sides were suddenly visited by an unnatural being of great power. And they are then nonchalantly told that the time of the Great Challenge is approaching and that they must prepare to send a champion from their people to participate in the Grand Race of Oban, the significance of it being implied very important. Galaxy-changing important. So much so that after the visitor vanishes, leaving the leaders of humanity understandably skeptical and confused, the Krogs, who were winning by the way, simply retreat. Don is then told that even though this encounter was never spoke of again, and labeled as a abnormality, this avatar has returned and their time for preparation is over, and Don was chosen to create a team to go participate in this grand race. And there is simply no time to waste. After seeing a few of his contacts and acquiring a champion pilot, a gunner, prototype ships, as well as its mechanics, Don Wei and Eva, as a stowaway, are ready to represent Earth in this strange galactic challenge that none of them really know that much about. All the while Eva, aka Molly, is left to figure out how to fix her daddy issues and what importance and role the Great Race has in it. And that's basically the premise of Oban. I'm not really going to go past the first episode, and as already said, you can find the show right here on YouTube or on your streaming platform of choice. It's obviously kinda dated and has its flaws, and the animation might be a little bit off-putting at first, but this was basically my gateway anime, and I wanted to share it with you either way. If this sounds interesting, take a look, and if you want more videos like this, don't forget to leave a comment and thumbs up. This was Spazzy Dragon aka Syndromes. Fly safe.